Former Colorado Buffalo Jordan Seaton, now at LSU, probably the most hated man in Colorado. The Colorado or the fake Colorado Buffalo fans, I would say, if they don't even live in Colorado, those type of fans or whatever, just Dion fans in general, they probably hating on this man because how he left, but he's looking like that. They saying that's how he looked at Colorado. He's now with Lane Kiffin with that $40 million roster. They paying him probably a boatload of money. We'll get into a video that we'll see how much Colorado. You'll see how much Colorado was paying him because Well Off Media, if you don't know, that was Deion Sanders' son's YouTube page, and on it, he was in Jordan Seaton's house or apartment. I mean, a lot of people have apartments now. I mean, the NIL players, that's not nothing. But we'll get into what type of whip he's riding in, and you'll see this dude was probably offering or asking for a bag. Probably, I would say around 5 mil, around there. Maybe even more. But Colorado fans had to check some LSU fans or just the fans in general that was making fun of Deion Sanders' program because it was like, hey, this dude was looking like this at Colorado too. It just wasn't. That's probably game tape or in season where you just don't get the work you do in spring and hell week, things like that. You don't get a hell week in college ball. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's always hell week. So, but ooh. I don't want to comment on it. I just want to see the comments because okay, here we go. So someone had it, yeah. So the Colorado fans had to come in the comments and said, this is how he was looking too. So, you know, Colorado fans showed out, but this is him on Well Off Media, him, Jimmy Sander or Jimmy Horn. So y'all see what Jimmy riding. He riding the Ford Explorer, keeping it cool. He wasn't making that much of a bag, but Jordan Seaton's high school, they were probably he was probably getting asked a lot of places. So that bag different for left tackle too. Left tackles are needed.
Okay, Shador.
Riding in the Maybach. You know what I'm saying? So LSU had to come up quick too. They paying him a bag to keep up with that Maybach. He like, hey, I got a Maybach, and you got to pay for it. You got to pay for this LSU. You know what I'm saying? I still got payments on this thing.
I like what you're doing. Hold
So
up. All
LSU
right,
probably
Jimmy.
paying
I
a
appreciate
pretty penny for him. They brought in some dudes from Florida, and Dion brought some dudes. They quietly brought some dudes in from the portal. That was no one's really talking about their portal class because they have what's it called? They have they're projected to have the lowest wins in the Big 12. So that's that. But they brought in some a guy from Georgia, Bo Hewley, I think that's his name, 6'7", and then a Tennessee player, Larry Johnson the third. So those are two dudes to watch out for the left tackle position at Colorado, replacing Jordan Seaton, but it's gonna be tough. How he's looking now. He's looking like a different cat, and what he's saying. I heard some clips saying, "Oh, it's just different here," and I got to see what Cam Newton got to say because he's extra over exaggerated with his word. I love Cam Newton though. That's him. And you got to stop, just get into your segment sometimes. I'm tired of the openings. We Peggy. We get it. All right. But we over that now. We bigger and better things, brother. So shout out Cam and what he's doing. But yeah, Jordan Seaton, the most hated man in Colorado, I would say. Go ahead and do what the YouTubers say. I'm gonna say it. Shout out Cam once again though.
I feel like I was at a good point, but I feel like coming here, the transition from how I eat to how we work out here, is just kind of different. My decision to come here was just based off, it just means more, Coach uses that quote, it's just different here, and I really believe that. Being here is really just different from how we train to how we work, and the word.
Hold on. Change the screen though. Stick with me now. A little better though. A little better. I just
Extra around here.
come on.
Everybody, we're
Got
big
the
on
LSU
extra.
colors in the
Just
back.
doing what's required is
I had
not
to
enough.
set the scene.
When it comes to work, that's what this place is about. Like, you don't come here to do nothing else but work.
Where do I start? And I think this garnered a lot of attention because of the who and the what. The who is an athlete that came from Colorado. That was a very bona fide five-star recruit.
Five-star recruit, yeah.
All right. Then it's also Deion Sanders, him being questionable as his coaching methods.
Yeah.
But also understanding that he did transfer from one to go to the other. What do I get by telling Mr. Seaton to say, no, you're dead wrong? Because I don't get to say that.
You never played for Deion.
I never did.
Never played at Colorado.
I never played for Lane Kiffin. I never went to LSU. Different times, and he may be speaking his truth. But what I want people to understand is, of course, he's going to have a difference because it is a different place. He's not playing in Colorado. He's playing at LSU.
Exactly. I was gonna get into this a little bit, but Arkansas, place Colorado, there's things to do in Colorado. Ski is kind of like California. That's why a lot of Californians, Tennessee, moving to Tennessee, moving to Colorado, Arizona. Well, they just can't afford California no more. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of things to do in those types of places. You don't see them moving to Arkansas or Louisiana or things like that, where all it is about ball. Tennessee, yes, you go to Knoxville, but the population of Tennessee is probably huge, more than other states. So, Arkansas, all they care about is ball. Nebraska, Iowa, Midwest, all they care about is football. So, Louisiana, there's nothing else to do. California, hey, you can go to the beach, go to the mountains, whatever, in one day, cool. But no one really is realistic. I mean, you could, but not the average person. I'm saying,
methodologies that goes behind the reasons why we're doing certain things is different between Lane Kiffin and Deion Sanders. Some things may be true, some things may not be true. But one thing that we know is true is that this will either age well or it will spoil. Now, the reality is nobody is going to.
They lose. Man, I really hope Dabo has a strong season, man. For week 1, they got LSU, Clemson, Tiger versus Tiger again. That's gonna be a good one. They got Vicinia, but LSU gonna have firepower, and they're a lot of hype going around LSU. If they lose that first game, the hype's still gonna be there, but it's just gonna be a struggle to get back to that mountaintop. And will he be ranked is a question too. That will be a question of decision. I don't think you can rank them in the beginning of the season. That'll be something to watch for.
Be at a place and still hold the endearment of the other place.
Correct.
Because there was a clip that surfaced last year where Deion Sanders had, hey, these are the things while being at Colorado that we will stand for or not. One of those things was you cannot wear your former team's gear. If you want gear, we'll be happy to issue more gear. But he used the example of a girlfriend. You don't wear your old girlfriend stuff around your new girlfriend. That's just something that's just going to make it a little awkward.
No, I let this ad play. Stick with me.
By the few our country trusts to win.
They really trying to get y'all to join, man. And go ahead and, time to suit up. Get suited and booted.
Your old boyfriend.
But, what was I going to say? Yeah.
New girlfriend, that's just something that.
No, but, damn, what was I going to say?
That's just going to make it a little awkward.
Yeah, or your old boyfriend stuff around.
Vice versa. So, in this type of situation, with Jordan, that's what it's expected. Of course, he's going to say it's different here. But last time I checked, everybody's undefeated right now. This is the off season.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You have another example too, Peggy.
Like the way we eat and the way we work out is better than where I was before. The organization is more buttoned up, is more organized. I've been in college football for 3 years and I've gotten more coaching in the last 30 days than I've gotten in the last 3 years. These are just some of the things that former players at Colorado are saying about their time at Colorado.
Now, what we're not going to do is make this about Colorado and its inefficiencies or inability to extract the best out of players. Because
what I was gonna say is, it finally came back to me. If you wear your old team's gear, thank you. But if you wear your old team's gear at your new facility, or you even question the players, are you really even bought in? Or, they'll be like, oh, that's the only clothes I have or something. Like, come on, bro, go to Ross, like Burlington, Walmart. Walmart got, good white tees now, H&M, come on now. There's a lot of places, but there's no excuses for you, like in 2026, wearing your old team's gear and over there. So
let's be honest. Players have produced and went on to do great things and get drafted.
Yeah.
Right?
From Colorado.
From Colorado. Even though Jordan is not wrong for voicing his opinion, because he's entitled to think and believe and experience certain things, and it may resonate or not resonate to him. You have another example of this where it's just not about Colorado. James Smith, a former Alabama player who transferred to Ohio State, voiced the same things about it just being different here. Correct. Right? And he's talking about the practice style, the physicality.
I've watched Alabama's practices, like the spring. It's like John Summerall from spring practices. He probably number one right now with just the intensity, how he's just caring about his players. From what I've seen, all around the board from these spring practices, I've seen USC's, all these top Alabama. Alabama is bad. It just looked like there's no energy, no nothing. I wouldn't. I haven't seen all of their spring practices, but the ones I've seen, it just isn't. Coaches aren't getting after the players if they do something wrong. Like, it's just going through. It looks like they're going through the motions over there. So I would say that.
Or the speed in practice.
With Kalen DeBoer now, but if you roll Tide, hey, y'all.
Practice.
And the intensity.
That's a testament to Coach Ryan Day and Coach Caleb DeBoer. At the end of the day, when you're leaving one place to go to another place, rarely do we hear publicly in that time to say it would have been a bad look for James, or it would have been a bad look for Jordan to say, man, I wish I would have stayed at my other school.
For sure.
It just doesn't happen. We expect this type of content, but understand, like I said, it's either going to age well or it's going to spoil.
Yeah.
Because Caleb DeBoer can't too much say anything. Well, like, why is he responding to this?
Exactly.
He got bigger fishes.
We got current players that we molded.
Why would Deion Sanders respond to that? He got bigger fish to go try to hunt and to nurture. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, this is just.
So you saying a 5-star wasn't like a big fish that he did? But I mean, he tried to nurture. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He got that Big 12 gauntlet schedule. Got to probably go through Texas Tech and them boys. So we'll see. We will see.
Media twist. No,
you can't just do that though. Like, Seaton was one of them ones in the portal, but now, hey, you don't have to pay him as much. You pay some other, maybe two players like Bo Hewley and Larry Johnson. Maybe you pay him what you were paying Seaton. You get two players for the price of one. Hello.
That the journalist that was at hand knows how to ask a question that will garner attention.
Now, let me ask you this, though. And I know you said, Coach DeBoer, Coach Sanders have bigger fish to fry. But for incoming players and players of this magnitude, so it's not like it's a guy that was on the bench, third string guy that's like, oh, you just disgruntled. These are starters.
Let's go, Boogie. Let's go.
Elite players. For a potential recruit going to that school, how do I look at this and then feel comfortable joining this program? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, well, he went to LSU over Colorado. Why am I going to Colorado if I have both of them on the table? Or vice versa. If I got Alabama and Ohio State, and he's saying the game is faster, I like it here. It's better here at Ohio State than Alabama. If I'm an Alabama recruit and I have both on the table, it's like, should that choose where I should go?
That's a great question, but honestly, Peggy, knowing what I know as an adult, as a person who's experienced different strategies and different philosophies and different, ways of approach, I would take more kind of impact of really listening.
The thing is, too, like, it has to be in person. I'm sorry for pausing it, but you got to do it in person, or the players have to see it in person. Miami, that's at Miami. Mario Cristobal, that's the one thing he's telling his recruits, hey, you have to come see my practices before you commit to my program. So a lot of them guys, they got to see the practices for themselves, how they're getting after it. Hopefully, coaches aren't faking it on recruitment days, and players aren't showing out on recruit days. They're showing out every day. So
listening, not through a recruit, because a recruit's intentions may be geared towards their current situation. What I will also take into consideration is if we could hear from Warren Sapp, if we can hear from Marshall Faulk, coaches and adults that were in the locker room, in the coaching staff.
but if your D line and your running back room wasn't up to par, why you got to hear from them? You know what I'm saying? Or Marshall Faulk wasn't the what's it called? He wasn't the O-line coach, so why you got to hear from him? Well, I guess he was going against him, but it wasn't a good enough job for what Colorado's record was. So, and you see, he left.
That knew this right, or no, this wrong right here. Like, coach, we gotta.
And Marshall took another job.
Intensify practice a little bit. Yeah. If an adult or a coach that was up under Caleb DeBoer or Deion Sanders were to come out and say it's better here, that will hold more weight to me.
I got you.
Rather than a recruit that is at another school and he's talking about his former school. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's not to say that it's not legitimate. What I'm saying is you're saying that because of your circumstance now. Give me somebody who's unbiased.
But can't that go for both, even with a coach?
It can go to both because we're still talking about human beings.
Yeah, it's like, well, I didn't like my experience there. And they might be a great team, but it's like, well, I didn't like serving them underneath this coach.
But this is what life has taught me. My experience at the University of Florida is completely different than Tim Tebow's experience at the University of Florida. Mm-hmm. Stay with me. Okay. My experience at Auburn University was completely different than another player's experience at Auburn University. You understand what
I get that?
I understand.
Different time.
But you're not getting treated differently from the coaches. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Maybe you aren't, but the fans, the hype, the media, the crowd, yes, they're treating you different from different players, Cam, because you're putting on every day. Like, you're a star player, brother. Like, what are you getting at?
Different situations, different experiences. Being a guy on a team is different.
Jordan Seaton was a guy on Colorado, I would say. So, I mean, it's not correlating because
different than being the guy on a team. Don't let that fly over your head, dreads, or your toupee, Peggy. Here we go. Team. Different than being the guy on a team. Don't let that fly over your head, dreads, or your toupee, Peggy. Here we go. Next.
I'm not rocking with that one. Yes, like a bench player will have a different experience from you, Cam, because you are the star player. Like, yeah, but that's not gonna like hold any weight from what they're doing in practices. So I don't know what he was really getting out there, but let me know what y'all think of the Jordan